Pierre Poilievre once again verbally duking it out with a reporter. It seems like this is becoming a trend. Now, this all took place today as Pierre Poilievre was doing a press conference talking about the Arrive scam app that's really coming to light, and the Attorney General is actually going to be doing a report on this. And I want to encourage people. I know I'm going to be reporting on this later as well, but tonight, if you want to get all the details on this, Northern Perspective is going to be doing a special live stream tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern as the Auditor General presents her final report on the Arrive Can to committee, and they're going to break it down for you. If you want to know all the details and you want to know them as soon as possible, get into that live stream and tune in. The link will be in the description for this down below, as well as a link for I'm going to be at an event on Thursday evening. If you're in West Van or in the neighborhood, why don't you come on down? This is going to be for Marcus Wong and his candidacy for the Conservative Party. Come on down, check it out. The RSVP link will be in the description down below. Anyway, let's get into the video here. Pierre Poilievre duking it out in this case. He was doing a press conference to talk about the Arrive scam app that's, cost over $60 million now. And it looks like it went to cronies. It just went to cronies in the bureaucracy and for no work, actually, no work performed. Now, while he was bringing this news to light, a reporter from Canadian Press decided, no, we're going to make some accusations and not even let him answer the question.
Why did your party want to grant over $100 million in regulatory relief to the mainstream media?
We don't want to give any tax dollars to the mainstream media. Our belief is that the mainstream media and all...
Your party's decision to grant regulatory relief?
So I'll answer your question. The media that is bought and paid for, where are you from, by the way? Which outlet are you in? Which outlet? Which outlet?
Canadian Press.
Okay, Canadian Press. So you're talking about tax dollars for media. Isn't CBC your biggest? Isn't no? I can answer.
I asked regulatory.
Yeah, and you want to answer?
Why does your party want to grant $100 million in regulatory relief to the mainstream media?
Now, at a certain point, you wonder if they actually want to answer to any of their questions, or if their questions are just rhetorical in nature and they're just trying to get the sound bites, which we have seen in the past. This has become a bit of a trend for the news media, and we're going to get into some of the other instances of this, but let's listen to this exchange.
When would you like me to respond? Okay, good. Okay, great. So, of course, you are a tax-funded media outlet and spreading Justin Trudeau's message.
Why did you
and so you're interrupting me again. You're interrupting me again. I am answering the question.
Do you regret granting $100 million in regulatory relief to the mainstream media, including
Your question is
Bell?
false. So if you can allow me to correct your falsehoods, then we can answer the question directly. So, false. Canadian Conservatives do not believe in giving tax dollars to media outlets. That's Justin Trudeau. That's Justin Trudeau. That's Justin Trudeau. Okay, if you don't want me to answer the question, I'll move on to someone else. You're a tax-funded mouthpiece to the PMO. That's the reality. So,
question answered. You committed.
I'm trying
to. Answer the question.
I'm trying to, but you're heckling. Are you going to let me answer the question, or are you just going to heckle on behalf of Justin Trudeau? Which is it?
I would love the answer.
Great. So our party does not support tax dollars for media outlets, because that's when we end up with biased media like you, who come here and articulate the PMO talking points rather than delivering real news to the Canadian people. Justin Trudeau gave Bell Media and other media tax dollars supposedly to protect media jobs. And then what happened? They all got laid off. So that the supposed justification for giving Bell all this money was that it was going to save media jobs. Well, they all got fired. So I guess that wasn't the real reason for giving tax dollars to the media. The real reason was for him to buy support from the media, which is what it actually did. So we believe that media should be driven by readership, viewership, and listenership, and that's what allows it to represent the Canadian people rather than taking marching orders from the PMO.
That's perfect. I couldn't agree more with that sentiment. If you want readership, you want people to view, you need to compete in the open market with everybody else and not just receive tax dollars. Because when you receive tax dollars, well, you can't say that these agencies aren't going to run favor for the person who wants to give them money rather than the person who is probably going to remove the government funding from them altogether. And on the open market, these companies are failing. They're absolutely failing. Without the government subsidies, they wouldn't be able to function whatsoever. And this is really the case. And this is why we see it across the board. And this is one of the first instances of this happening. This happened a year ago, and this was a reporter named David Atkin who just would not let him even start the press conference. It just became this thing. And it was funny, at the time I reported that he was behaving like Jim Acosta. We all learned about Jim Acosta during Donald Trump's presidency. Funny that is that the media actually went with the other way around. They spun it and tried to say that Pierre Poilievre was behaving like Trump, even though it was the reporter that initiated this engagement here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Appreciate your presence here today. Before I begin, let me just say that thank you very much. I'm being heckled here by the. Thank you very much for your congratulation. Thank you very much for your questions. I'm going to begin my remarks now.
But will you take some questions afterwards?
Justin Trudeau is out of touch, and Canadians are out of money. The cost of government is driving up.
Let's just say it kept going on for some time. Now, David Atkin later apologized for this exchange, and it was unprofessional, and he acknowledged that was unprofessional behavior in a press gallery like this. It wasn't a scrum, and there are rules to these engagements. But this isn't the only case that we've seen recently. Another time with Canadian press once again. Coming in as an activist organization, less of a, let's just say, it's not a debate. You ask your question and you get an answer.
Hi, Paula Loregio with the Canadian Press. Et si vous pouviez répondre dans les deux langues officielles, je l'apprécierais beaucoup. Do you think it was responsible for you to call yesterday's explosion by the checkpoint at the Rainbow Bridge terrorism when no U.S. or Canadian officials said that was authorities said that was the case, and when the New York governor also said there was no evidence to suggest terrorism activity?
Actually, you're wrong. You're a CP? Okay, so CP, by the way, CP, just for everyone's knowledge, did have to make 3 corrections for falsehoods that they put into a single article. I think that might be unprecedented. I'm actually thinking about checking with the Guinness Book of World Records to see if there's ever been a news agency that has had to issue 3 corrections for patent falsehoods that they admit they had been made in one single article, and now you've made yet another falsehood in your question. Where you are wrong is that...
Okay, so he goes on to disprove what they were actually saying. Again, another case of this was the infamous Apple interview, and I'll give another clip, a short, brief bit of it, about this one.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean, certainly you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Left wing, this and that, right wing. I mean, it's that type of ideological spectrum.
I never really talk about left or right.
Anyways, a lot of people
don't really believe in that.
Okay, a lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but...
Like who?
I don't know who, but...
Let's just say this didn't work out very well for this reporter. And these aren't the only times that this has ever happened. This has happened several times. And it seems to be that there is a push from the media establishment to go after Pierre Poilievre. And very much so in a very political way. Now, my suspicion is exactly that. When the government is their main source of income, well, when he gets in, that's gonna come to an end, and they'll have to compete with everyone in the open market, which means they'll be competing with channels like mine, and be competing with other independent news agencies that have been doing a bang-up job and doing it without any government funding. So it seems like a very desperate move in the end, and it's really losing them more credibility at the end of the day to have this kind of behavior moving into it, because once they are no longer publicly funded, they will have to compete with the open market, and if they want to gain their trust back, they might want to start doing that now. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below and let me know what you think, and of course, as always, keep on trucking.